How much money do you get as a seller when you sell your house? Well, that's kind of an open-ended question because there are some variables as to what you may owe in reference to your house. Most people, I think, still today have a mortgage on their house. So that is one thing that you're going to need to get that figure from the bank so that your realtor will be able to deduct that amount from what is called, or what we call here in South Carolina, the seller's net sheet. So when we come out to meet with the seller in upstate South Carolina, we will have all of the fees that are associated by state law that the seller is to pay at closing. And then we will give you the price that we feel would be a good marketable price for your home, and then we will deduct those numbers for you so that you will see what your bottom line will be at closing. So an approximate amount of what your check will be when you get to the closing table. So in South Carolina, some of those figures that are a seller closing cost is preparation of deed and closing, state deed stamps, sometimes called transfer tax, and then you have the real estate commission. You will have the proration of your taxes. So here in South Carolina, you will credit the buyer on the closing statement from January 1st through the day of closing for your portion of the taxes. And then when the tax bill comes out that year, you are free of any encumbrances from that tax bill. So that will all be on the buyer because you gave them that credit at closing on the closing statement. The other thing really is the satisfaction fee, and what that is when you have a mortgage on your home. Once that mortgage is paid off, the mortgage company is going to issue a satisfaction fee. So they go ahead and charge you for that at closing so that when they send the check to your mortgage company to pay off that loan, that fee can be paid for the recording of the satisfaction fee, which shows you no longer owe on that property. One thing to keep in mind is if you have an open line of credit or an equity line on your home, that will also have to be paid off at closing. And even if you don't owe anything on it, you need to make sure that the closing attorney knows that you have that open equity line, because they will need to close that as well, just so nothing else can go on that equity line once your mortgage is paid off. Another thing to keep in mind, and this really isn't how much money you get to keep, although it kind of is if you have an escrow account where your taxes and your insurance are added into your payment every month, you will actually get any money in that escrow account sent back to you. So it's very important that you let your current lender of your mortgage know what your new mailing address is going to be, because they're going to send you a check for any money that is in that escrow account after closing, because they will no longer need it, obviously. So anyway, the most important thing is a lot of people still have equity in their homes today. And the good thing is, even if you bought your house just 2 years ago, you probably have some equity in your home. So if you find that a life situation or circumstances puts you in a situation where you need to move, make sure you reach out to a local realtor in your area and let them come out, and hopefully they would offer you a seller's net sheet. But if they don't, then make sure that you ask them, what are my closing costs going to be when I sell this home? Some states are different with what the seller is responsible for paying, but all of that should be listed out in the contract of sale when you get an offer on your home. So as always, if I can be any help to anybody in the upstate, Anderson County, Oconee County, Pickens County, or Greenville County, give me a call. I'd love to help you.